Hello, everyone. If someone still doesn't know me, my name is Darina, and today we will be talking about trust and psychological safety. We have already had this kind of video, so it's basically the third one of these sets. So let's get started with our agenda. Today we will be talking about definition of trust and psychological safety, also about its connection with open, honest, and direct communication, and basically how to build trust and psychological safety in our noble environment, let's say. So let's get started with this triangle. Once again, you have already seen this one a lot of times, but this video is based on this noble teamwork model, and we have already discussed open, honest, and direct communication with respect. Today, we will focus on trust and psychological safety, and still we have a lot of things to be discussed. The only thing I'd like to say here and to remind you that all of these things are interconnected, and it's very important that we can't proceed with commitment if we don't have the layer of constructive conflict, as well as we won't be able to proceed with constructive conflict that we are discussing so much in our teams if we are not dealing with trust and psychological safety inside the teams. So I will definitely encourage all of you to work on these things, and I'll definitely help you out with that one. So once again, as you already remember, we will be talking about trust and psychological safety today. Let's cover what is trust at the very beginning. So, trust within our noble team and within every little corporate's international team is something like the glue that holds team members together across different cultures, time zones, and places where we are located. It basically means that we believe in each other's reliability, expertise, and commitment to shared goals. That despite the fact that we're all in different locations, in different places, that we have different experiences, still we are the same team and we're here to support each other. It's also about your confidence that you won't be judged, confidence that your back will be covered and that everyone is here to help you. I have already covered the reliability part. It's your ability to know that the person stands for you and the person understands your needs and the needs of your team, and that everyone meets those needs, meets the requirements, and everything. We will also cover it later on. And of course, integrity. If to cover it briefly, it's basically it means that everyone is honest and everyone is doing the right thing, even if no one is looking. So we are not here to manage each other, and we are independent teams who want to control themselves rather than someone to control you. We are here to support each other and to make sure that we hold each other accountable rather than wait some management from the outside. Also, it's about following the team's rules and values, and this will definitely help us become a better team and become way more productive. In general, to sum up, trust is the human mechanism that is built into us and that allows people to work together and cooperate in the best ways. We think logically, we basically we think so, but in fact, what's happening that we never think logically, but we think with trust. Let's call it like this. Basically, our brain is not the logical process, it's a trust summer process. We want to know who are there whom we trust and who are there the ones who we can share some things with, let's say. And of course, the most primate thing of our brain is a friend or foe. It never goes away despite the fact that it's very ancient, but still it's something that is always happening in our brain, and we need to make sure that everyone whom we meet in our workplaces are our friends rather than our foes. So why do we need trust in this environment? Basically, everything is written on the slides, and you guys know all of these things. It will definitely help us with the teamwork, as trust is like a I don't know cornerstone for effective teamwork, enabling open, honest communication and collaboration among all the team members. Also, high level of trust within the team leads and within everyone in the team empowers performance, and it really helps us share ideas and understand that we are here to take risks. Of course, it reduces conflicts, as if we trust the person that we are there not to come up with the conflicts, but basically to solve them and to help each other. It will make our world better. Of course, it builds a supportive environment and the culture that's in builds trust in itself is already supportive and an inclusive workspace which we're trying and developing ourselves to become. In addition, it once again it promotes accountability. As you heard this word a lot of time, we want to make sure that we hold each other accountable, and it's about every little team member to feel the responsibility of a shared goal and of a shared vision that we're going to and going through. So it's not about the team leads, it's not about the CEO or anybody else to remind us that we are here to support each other. And of course, we are here to do what we are doing and to do it successfully. So we need to be accountable with each other and be responsible for what we are doing. And of course, open, honest, and direct communication, as we covered in the previous video, and you already know its importance. Trust also develops open, honest, and direct communication. It basically it definitely improves it and helps out to get to new corners and new direction of this topic. So let's get to psychological safety. If defining psychological safety, basically it refers to the belief that you can speak up and take a risk as long as it is an intelligent risk. And of course, once again, we're all responsible of it. One more interesting thing is don't kill the messenger. Our brains are built on correlation, not causation. And when someone has some bad news to bring to the team, something like the product that we launched didn't work out, or we got some negative feedback on it, we need to override our tendency to blame those who bring those bad news. Of course, it might be really complicated. It might be something that we are used to for a long time, but it is something that will never play a good thing with us. It is definitely something that will take us from the development way that we're going to, and rather than going backwards. In addition, humans have identity of protection, and we tend to externalize our problems and internalize our success. And this is built into us and it protects our sense of self-centered. But when things don't work in the team, it's not about someone from the outside who did it wrong. And also, it's not about someone specifically, one team member who failed, or some specific product or some specific team who failed. It's about all of us because we are here once again to hold each other accountable. And if the team has made the decision to proceed with this project, then it's the team result, but not the one person's result, basically. So we need to make sure that we are honest with each other and that we never blame for what is happening. We never ever assign blame, and we have to remove even this language from our daily work and eventually learn to remove the emotions that go up with this in this case, because definitely it's not the best experience for us to go through. We never like failing, but since the world is moving so fast and everything is changing all the time for us, all the technologies, all the approaches, and the rest of it, then we will never be able to be on time with it and to be up to date. So we will always fail and we will always make mistakes, but it's not about us being bad or not about us, I don't know, not thinking about it, but it's just simply our way of learning. And the way to minimize those efforts and those mistakes are the MVP approaches. When you do the smallest thing that you can do, and then your failure, if it happens, doesn't feel to be so painful for you, then you understand that, okay, I tried it. It took me 20 minutes, 1 hour to develop these things, and it didn't work out. Okay. But then imagine yourself working on a product for a month, 2 months, and finding out that the product that you launch is useless for the clients or for your team. It doesn't matter, but still it's a way more painful results for your team, for the company, and for everyone who was included in the process of it. So once again, we want to encourage the MVP approach within our teams. And of course, a respectful way of treating the failures if they happen once again. And why we need psychological safety? Well, I can read everything that's written on the slide, starting from improving learning process, attracting new talents, encouraging development, and facilitating open, honest, direct communication. But you already know all of it. The only thing I want to stop on is reducing stress, because nobody would like to work in the environment where you feel stressed all the time and you burn out. Basically, it's vice versa. We want to experience engagement and we want to feel real fulfillment, sorry, with what we are doing, and basically to love our job and love our projects, love our commitment. And that's what we need to do. Rather than creating stressful situations for ourselves and for our team, we have to make sure that we support each other and that we're here for each other, and that we don't want to make mistakes, that we don't want to blame each other for those mistakes. Mistakes will be done one way for another, but we have to make sure that we don't blame ourselves for it, but think about it, analyze what has happened, and make sure not to repeat them again. And of course, risk taking and MVP results. I have already covered that one in the previous slides, but we have to make sure that we are here to take risks and make mistakes. That's how we learn the quickest. We have to make sure that those mistakes are not that painful. In order to do it, we need to stick to the MVP process, and that's it. That's basically very simple, and that's what we need to encourage in our teams and ourselves. That also means that we have to overcome our perfectionism. It's not that easy, but that the way that you can go through with your team only. It's when you hold each other accountable and all the time constantly asking the question, okay, what is the smallest thing that we can do within this project? What is the less effortless thing I can do it? And here is where you find the way. Here is where the team supports you and where you find out the other way of making mistakes, not the one that is the most painful for you. There are also two things that I wanted to discuss with you, and there are two, let's say, simple definitions from the first side: psychological safety and safe space. However, they're very different in the working environment, as psychological safety stands for being direct, however, providing respect. So you will be judged for your stupid ideas. If this idea is stupid, you have to call it out and you have to say that, hey, I don't agree with that one. This won't work, and the rest of it. You have to do it with respect, of course, but you need to make sure that you are direct. Also, it's about providing honest feedback and taking risks. If someone fails, they took the risk, but it failed, you never criticize them, but you learn from what has happened. You analyze the process, you analyze the result, and you find out the very root of the problem and the very root of mistake, and then you work on it in order not to repeat it again. And of course, don't hide disagreement and learn from your mistakes. If you disagree with someone, you have to say it out loud. In addition, there are two different things happening. If you are inside the team, because you have definitely heard this phrase from a lot of videos and the rest, never say no, despite the fact you have to ask questions rather than saying no. If you are inside the team, you have to make sure you don't hide this disagreement. You have to make sure you call it out saying, okay, I don't agree with this one. I think that we should do it in a different way. In this way, you don't call the person with the previous idea stupid or something like that, but you say your point of view. And then it's the team task to get to a shared understanding about this point, to find your areas of agreement, areas of disagreement, and to make sure where you stand on and where you have to move. In addition, you're learning from mistakes. You have to make sure that everything that has happened there for a reason. You don't criticize it, but you have to make sure that you find out how to not to repeat this problem or process again. However, if you are outside the team, if you are the one who is providing feedback on the product that the other team created, if you are the one to ask the powerful questions, you never say that you disagree, as you have to understand that you don't have the shared knowledge with this team. Then there is the place for asking powerful questions. How can we? How might we? What if? How can you make sure? And the rest of it. You don't judge, you don't say that they did it wrong or something else because you simply don't know what was happening in the team. So you have to make sure to ask powerful questions and to deliver the message that you want. Basically, that's it. And on the other side, there is a safe space, which means that you never judge, you support, you're being empathetic and confidentiality. But safe space and psychological safety are really differ, because safe space is more practiced when we're talking about coaching, psychological support, when we are talking about one-on-one meetings, when you are there just to support the team lead or the team member and just to ask something like, okay, how do you feel, is there anything I can help you with, what are you going through right now, and the others. If you are on the team meeting, you can never avoid judgment and you can never avoid disagreements. That what has to happen. However, in the safe space, nobody encourages disagreements and nobody encourages the conflicts themselves. But in psychological safety, and that's the very thing that we have to develop in our team, we have to make sure that all the conflicts that we go through are constructive conflicts and the ones that lead us to right conclusions and right ideas. Moving on, you have already heard these two definitions. They stand on each other. Unless you have open, honest, and direct communication in the team, you will never be able to reach trust. Because why would I trust you if you are not being honest with me? If I feel like you are not open on, if you are not providing me with direct feedback. We don't have to be afraid of direct feedback, but once again, let's remember that it should be done with respect. We have to make sure that it's done wisely, and only then we will reach the point of trust and psychological safety in our teams. And I would say it's an amazing place to be in such a team. It's um, it's one of the best things that you can experience within the working process, because when you are there to support each other, when you are there to develop each other, not only to hide the disagreements and to say that everyone is perfect when you're asked about feedback, then you grow the quickest and you understand that it's the very place where you want to be. And of course, one of the things that we have to develop is constructive conflict. But as far as you see, you won't be able to reach to the constructive conflict layer unless you have trust in your team, because I won't be able to disagree with you unless I trust you. If I don't trust you, I don't feel like you will understand what I'm saying. You will think about it deeply and you will make sure to process what was said and to take some real decision, but not something like, okay, you said it, I will note it down and never be back to it. So let's go step by step. I understand that it's their journey that was never done before, but we are here to encourage each other and to support on this way. And your team is always there for you. Make sure to support them and to feel support from them and to feel help from them. So let's talk about how to form trust in your team and how to develop trust. You can see it on the slides. These main components are reliability, not blaming others, encouraging, helping, active listening, sticking to the norms, and having fun. So let's go over these components one by one. The first one is being reliable. Probably it's pretty simple and technical one. You have to make sure that you meet deadlines. You have to make sure that you keep promises, that you communicate clearly, and you don't criticize others with their ideas. Unless we are reliable in our team, we won't be able to innovate and ideate. However, if we feel like there is someone who will cover our back and who will make sure to do the task when it is assigned to them, we will work way more efficiently and way more quicker. And it will definitely help us develop the trust environment and understanding that, okay, here is what needs to be done, and we will be done with that one till the next of the week, let's say, and we will launch this project. And everyone will be so satisfied with what was done and so satisfied with the process that it will be an awesome way for us. Let's go to the next one, not blaming others. It's very simple. Don't say that Maria didn't do her task, or don't say that it's not about me, but about Google Meet that created their own link or whatever. In fact, it doesn't really matter what went wrong. What matters is the results. You have to analyze the result. Let's say, okay, our product failed. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. It doesn't matter if Google Meet did something wrong, or if it was Maria or Anna or I don't know, Darina or whoever. Only matters is the result that wasn't done and how can we make sure to fix it. You analyze the mistake, you make sure to not to repeat it again, and you make sure to improve it. But you don't talk about, okay, this is what went wrong. It was definitely not my fault. It was Maria who did it in the wrong way. And now we have to say it, Maria, 20 times in order for her definitely to remember that one. It's always the case. We are human beings. We make mistakes. Once again, we learn in this way the quickest. It's not about someone's being faulty. It's only about us to improve our decision making process and our working process in general. Encouraging, probably once again, it's pretty much clear we have to offer praise, provide each other with feedback. And here is a very interesting point because, as usual, when talking about encouragement, people imagine feedback being provided only in the positive way. Let's say some roses, so thank you so much, you did an amazing job, and only some positive things. But it's not the very thing that creates an encouragement and engagement in the team. In order to develop ourselves, we have to hear areas of improvement that we have to do. We have to hear some places where we are wrong. We have to know where we made mistakes, just simply in order to grow. And if we have the team that does not support our development and our improvement process, then I'm not sure we will be willing to stick with that team for a long time. However, vice versa, just imagine the place where you feel that everyone stands for your development and every little team member is there to support you and to help you out with your journey. So once again, it will definitely be the place where everyone will want to be. Supportive Supportive of developments, recognizing achievements, it's the way to celebrate your victories, is the way to say that we did a great job and to make sure that you talk about it. Because as usual, we tend to talk only about bad things happening in our team. So something went wrong, this is where we failed, and the rest of it. And when we hear it all the time, it just seems that we are doing wrong everything and all the time. However, it's very important to understand that there are a lot of victories that we achieve, and we have to make sure to celebrate them and to encourage each other to make way better and more better decisions. And of course, encouraging participation, encouraging your team members to speak and to say their opinion, asking some kind of question like, okay, Maria, what do you think about it? Or do you have any opinion on it? Do you have any feedback on it? Because we need to make sure that everyone is heard in the team and everyone has provided their thoughts, as those thoughts are very valuable. And probably a lot of times you've seen the situation where your thoughts or the thought of your team member has changed the entire flow of the project. Maybe you won't even remember that one, but it definitely was the case. So your thoughts, feedback, ideas, and disagreements are very important. And we have to make sure that we support the environment where we speak out about it and that we are the ones to do it because everyone is responsible for it. Everyone is responsible for making Nobel better and the place that everyone wants to be in. Helping is not about physical help or sharing a document, whatever. It's also about sharing your knowledge because you have gained it within a lot of mistakes and errors. And if you share the knowledge with me, then you will prevent me from failing. And then you will help me out in this way. Providing resources, whichever you know, links, whatever the team member needs. Offering assistance, making sure that you are there for someone, that if someone doesn't know what to do with a task or whatever else, you are there to help them out and to support them. And active listening, of course. So let's discuss how active listening can help us out in the team. Basically, active listening stands for two different components. It's about showing your understanding and being brief. Let's say that you will never be able to see if the person is actively listening. So if you watch me being on the team meeting or any other team member that you are there with, watching the team member, you will never understand if he or she is actively listening. There is no running row on your forehead saying like she is actively listening at this moment. No, unfortunately, it doesn't happen this way. And in order to understand that we were heard and that we were listened to, we have to make sure to use these techniques such as showing understanding and being brief. They are the ones that are visible and that are not seen as active listening. So, in order to stick to it, you have to follow these directions. They're pretty simple. They are one of the techniques to show and to express active listening, to engage people to talk more, and to provide clarifications and understandings inside the team. So, we want to make sure that we are encouraging remarks, that we asking some questions and making sure that we understand what's being said and encourage and support the speaker. We're echoing. It's one of the techniques where basically you paraphrase what was said and you echo back the phrase that the person said. In this way, two things are happening. You make sure that you get it correctly, and that's the very thing that the person said. In addition, the other person hears what he or she said and what is happening in their brain, that it goes, the information that you right now that you gave to this person, it goes through another part of their brain, and it makes sure that the person thought about it from the different perspective, and once again he is sure about what was said. It's just like the notes. It's probably one more technique of echoing, but it definitely will help you to understand that you're being on the same page. Asking open-ended questions, making sure to ask clarifying questions and to add some clarification. Is it what I understood? Did you say it? Is it what you meant? And so on and so forth. Pausing. It's also a very powerful technique. It's funny, but it's true. You have to make sure that you pause whenever you're delivering an information. You have to make sure that you are being brief and that you deliver one message per page, that you have covered one topic, one part of the topic. You stop for a moment, you wait for everyone to process the information that you provided them with, and you create a space for them to ask questions, to make suggestions, and so on and so forth. In addition, it's about paraphrasing. It's pretty much simple to echoing, but changing the perspective, repeating what was said, summarizing. It's basically, once again, there are the notes. Okay, so we agreed, blah, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it will definitely help you once again to be on the same page and to make sure that whatever was discussed today will not change tomorrow, because everything is written down and everything is summarized. And of course, logical consequence. You don't want to jump from one topic to another back and forth. You have to make sure that there is only one discussion happening within the team. If there is any other thing popping up, then you have to make sure to note it down in order not to forget to talk about it. But the process that is happening and the conversation that is happening should stand for one specific topic in order not to confuse all the team members. Once again, you already know that one. We want to stick to our norms. We have Nobel norms specifically. They are our badges, and they are probably the videos that all of you watched at the EduQuest when you've been here for the first time. We need to make sure that we earn badges. There are norms. And we need to make sure that we agree on the norms in our teams, as there are different cultures and different countries being involved in our teams. And we have to make sure that everyone is comfortable about what is happening in the team and everyone understands everyone. Because there are so many things I saw, there were so many disagreements and misunderstandings based on the cultural differences that a simple question would have solved that one. However, if the question was not asked, then it wasn't solved. So you need to make sure to form your own norms. You can write them down, you can agree on them orally, but it definitely will help you as the team to develop yourself and to feel more of that psychological safety, which we were discussing a little bit before, when you know what to expect from your team and you know that your boundaries won't be crossed. And of course, having fun is probably one of the most important things in Nobel, and it's the very core of it. We want to make sure that we enjoy the process that we are doing and we are innovating, as we can innovate only in case we feel satisfaction from what we are doing, and if we are here to help each other, and if we're here to celebrate everything. We want to make sure that we are taking breaks. Nobody, we're not robots. We cannot work 24 per 7. We need to make sure that we define the most comfortable working hours for us and the most comfortable commitment time that we can get to Nobel and that we will be comfortable with, and that we will be able to innovate. As if you will be burned out or stressed out, you won't be able to provide your team with that effective thoughts or that effective feedback that your team so much requires from you. Of course, having team building meetings, having fun, having some jokes, playing some games, having offline events, and something like that will definitely boost your creativity and will definitely create more trustworthy environment in your team. And once again, celebrating the milestones, making sure to focus on the victories, even though they were small, even though it's not the end of the project, but still you have to make sure that you are there to support each other and that you say those good words of support and that everyone hears them and everyone is very happy. Thank you so much. Hopefully, it was useful for you. Hope to see you next time.